So this little quick how do you do just turned into a how do you don't. Gotta love it. Just gotta freaking love it.
Welcome back to the Pit Stop Ranch. We're gonna go ahead and do a first start on our 1961 Corvair. If you remember, a couple months back we picked this thing up. It was too good of a deal to let go. Before we did anything, hell, before it was even off the trailer, we ran up and got a new gas tank and a new windshield, just because we knew that those were going to be things we needed. Now, one of the things that we want to do before we put too much time and money and effort into this thing is we want to hear this thing bark off. We want to hear this thing run. We want to make sure that it is a runner before we sink any more time and money into it. In fact, we should have done this before we bought any of that other stuff for it. Because if it's not a runner, quite honestly, as amazing of a little car as this is, and as good a shape as it is overall, if we had to do big reconstructive work on the engine, we'd just be passing it down the road and probably taking a big loss. So we're gonna find out if we get this thing running. Stay tuned.
What is this, 61 Corvair?
That's what you said it was.
Oh,
that's what the title says, I believe.
Okay, well then
61 or 62.
No, it's pretty sure 61. I don't think it was a 62. 61 Corvair, opposed 6-cylinder, vintage black license plates. Hasn't been registered since 1988. We're going to try to start this son of a gun.
That's a new cap.
It's a new cap. See what we got as far as oil. We have oil. Start to, oh, it's a little low, doesn't it look?
Yeah, it looks a little low.
Okay. That looks a little low. We're at manual transmission, so we just got to make sure it's out of gear. I'm not exactly sure if it'll start. We think that the clutch cable is disengaged.
Oh, we know the clutch cable's broken. It's hanging in chunks down underneath it.
Okay, so the clutch cable is hanging in chunks.
The clutch cable is shredded, so there's no clutch cable.
Do we need to have the? Is there going to be a clutch lockout or anything that's going to prevent us from starting it?
The clutch safety switch.
Yeah. Or is that something that we have to put our foot on the floor and it was?
1961. I don't know.
Okay.
And yeah, and it depends then if it does have one. Is that in the transmission or is that in on the pedal? Now we got the book on it, don't we? Yeah, we got the book on it, so
we have a book. We could look it up if we so desired.
Mm-hmm.
If we wanted to read the instructions. Well, I mean, who does that?
Not us if we don't have to.
We had what would be a brand new battery in there, but the brand new battery was completely dead, 0 volts, from sitting with the positive and negative on for, I don't know, since September or so. So that's about 4 months.
No steel wool.
So had a little 4-month hiatus on this bad boy, and we're going to try to start it. We're just going to spray some carb cleaner in the carbs and then hook the battery up and turn the son of a gun over, see what happens. All right, so we took our spare battery.
Carburetors are free. It's doubtful that they squirt anything. Probably vacuum leak right there. Now this is 2-stroke, and I'm aiming for the breather, and whatever I mess with is going down the throat. And as Derek likes to say, that's way too much. So perfect. And you got the...
So I'm gonna put the negative on. Here's the ground strap. And I'm gonna jump inside the cab. And I'm just gonna turn it over. We're in neutral. Ready?
Ready?
Nothing. No juice at all.
No, you okay. You he turned it over for you when you bought it, right?
Yeah, we turned it over.
Okay. Do we need to check this battery?
$11.8.
Okay. The other thing too is these connections might not be the best. Now, one thing that I'm looking, there's a lot of fine grit in there, and we just had a really big dust storm, and the air cleaner hasn't been on there at all. So the fact that they are free, oh, it's squirting. We might have accelerator pump, at least on that one. Nice. We can just get it started, cranked over. The fact it didn't budge at all is kind of upsetting. What?
I found the starter button.
Oh, nice.
It's not the key. Hold on. So I have it on start.
Okay, you got the ignition switch on?
The ignition switch is on. You ready for me to press the button?
Yep.
No cough, no nothing, huh?
Yeah, no cough, no nothing.
It turns over free.
Yeah, that's good.
You want to try to put a little more gasoline in there?
Yeah. The other thing we can do is check, use our multimeter and check the, see if ignition's actually on.
Well, go ahead and do your thing.
Is well, you want to film me doing it then?
All right.
Is the ignition on?
No, everything's off.
Okay.
So you're going to turn the ignition on, and then you could test for
Yep.
see if we have power at the ignition source.
Yep.
Okay, so here we are. We have a key. The key is in the lock position. I'm going to put it in the off position. There's an on position. So, and then down here, hidden in the seat, is a separate starter button. That was one of the original anti-theft devices, is just hiding your starter button somewhere.
Yeah, coil's got power.
We got power at the coil. We have a new cap.
Looks like a new cap.
Doesn't know about the quality of the rotor. And you just put gas in there, right?
Yep.
All right, so here. I'm gonna press the button. We're in neutral. Start is on. Oh, it's slower. Here we go.
There you go. All right, next step is to pull a spark plug and see if we're getting sparkles.
A little sparky spark.
Yeah, sparky spark.
Okay.
So,
And just because we're getting power at the coil doesn't mean the coil is any good. It might.
well, it doesn't. We don't know if the points are any good. We don't know.
Yeah.
So the next step is we pull a spark plug, and if we get spark, then we know all that stuff's good. So it's a different reason why it's not starting. Yep, it just pulls out.
So here we go. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, there we go. It just pulled out.
Man, this is the easy one to get to. Alright, we need a 7 needle nose.
Let me see what you got there. So our original idea was to just pull the spark plug out and check for fire. But since it broke off,
we can fix it. That's not a problem.
oh, well, is it going to be long enough?
Well, it's
Just a crimp.
just a crimp. Clean it up, but you can see the conductor right there. And it's just a matter of recrimping it, cleaning things up and recrimping it.
Well, that's good news. I thought we were going to have to do a whole tune-up on this son of a gun that we just wanted to not spend any money on, or that I wanted to not spend any money on. But that's how I get down, is I don't spend money on jack.
Actually, you spend a lot of money. It's just not much on anything in particular.
Alright, so there we have our spark plug. It looks wet.
Yeah, all the fuel I dumped down the throat. Could be the reason why it's not firing.
Think it's flooded?
Probably. Well, it definitely looks flooded. Clean it up and...
I figured if it was flooded it would cough a little bit and just not start. So we'll go ahead and recrimp this guy and see if we can make it work. So we just slid that thing on the end right there.
And I'm gonna crimp
Now we got to crimp it with our precision
crimping tool.
you got your multimeter right there. You can check resistance to make sure you got connectivity.
There's going to be so much resistance per...
Well, yeah, no, that's as long as you see resistance, you don't want to see open loop.
All right, continuity check.
Oh wow, yeah, we got lots of continuity there.
Well,
We got lots of resistance.
how many ohms is acceptable in this? I don't know.
I don't know.
'Cause that's
You think that's a bad wire? Because it's got like 900 ohms.
almost 1,000, 980 ohms. No, it's...
We'll have to do a little oogly googly internet search. Power on and contact.
Stop. Yeah, no sparkles, but that just means that could just be because our ground's no good.
So this is a points distributor.
Mm-hmm.
So our points could be off. We could, it's a new cap, but doesn't mean we have a new rotor.
Mm-hmm. Try it again. Let's ground it on the...
Okay, we still have power. Contact.
Yeah, no, we're not. No, I'm not seeing any sparkies.
Okay.
So, no sparkles. So, no spark.
The cap looks new, but maybe we'll just pop the cap off and see what the rotor looks like.
I want to pop the cap, so we need. Looks like we need 5/16. Well, we can do a backyard tune-up where we just clean up the plugs. We don't actually replace them.
Just hit them with the wire brush or some emery cloth.
Yeah.
Sandpaper.
Yeah.
Maybe check the gap.
Yeah.
And then
Well, I mean, they are worn. They are tired plugs, but
just to get her to start. But I do want to see what the internals of this distributor looks like as well.
yeah. Yep.
Could be the points aren't gapped properly and we're not getting spark all the way through.
And they could just be
Could be dirty, corroded.
corroded. It's all the joys of being points. I mean, that's why everyone prefers to upgrade to solid state. Now, they are super easy to get working, even on a temporary basis, but they always require attention, which is the reason why, you know, the industry, as well as most hobbyists, have gone away from them. Now, when you're watching, you know, Vice Grip Garage or Junkyard Digs, you know, they always really prefer points over solid state, because a lot of solid states are like points you could Mickey Mouse to get working again. But brand new. It's all new.
Alright, so we got a new rotor, we got new points. Is the gap on the point set properly?
Can't tell. Is it on?
I think I just turned it off. Let me check it.
You wouldn't turn it on if you would.
Oh, yeah, I know it's on. It is on.
Okay, it's not sparking at all doing this.
So we're not getting power.
Well, doesn't mean we're not getting power. I mean, the condenser could be bad.
It's got to go through the coil, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the coil might be shot.
Curious. Which?
We're getting juice to the coil.
Mm-hmm. The juice through the coil.
We're getting juice through the coil.
Yeah.
So if we're getting juice through the coil, then
now it'd be a good idea to check the resistance on the coil to see if the coil's good or not. But if we're getting juice through the coil, oh wait,
there's Sparky. I heard Sparky.
yeah, there was some Sparky, but it went away.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's clean the points, because that could be the reason why it's not sparky. Go ahead and turn it off, please. Yeah, there's a lot of corrosion under here with the new points.
That is an awful lot of corrosion. You think it could it possibly be like a voltage regulator issue?
Mm-mm. I mean, the fact that one of the issues is definitely the it's getting a full 12 volts to the coil, and that should be closer to 9 volts. So that's one of the reasons why these points are as chewed up as they are. So there needs to be a ballast resistor in here. Now on GM cars back in the day, common practice was the hot wire to the coil frequently was a resistive wire. Now certain years it was that way, some years it was not, so I don't know exactly this particular one, but we're seeing full battery voltage at the coil, which is great for starting it. You get a good hot spark. It's not good if you want for reliability. So one of the things we're going to have to do is trace the ignition wire and make sure we have put a resistor on it. And then what we can do is with ignition hot, it goes to the resistor, and then off the ignition solenoid there should be a separate wire that comes off that, which then we could run to the coil around the ballast resistor, so that when you're cranking, you're getting full voltage to the setup, so that you get a good hot spark for starting, so you kick off faster. And that was how they were wired back in the day. Looking at this has been rewired, so, and who knows by whom and how good they were and what they did, because it's doing some interesting stuff. Now this wire here, it better be going to attack. If it's not going to attack, then yeah, I don't know what's going on. So, do you mind turning on
the power?
Yeah.
So we got no. We'll put the negative back on. So that cable, that negative cable, looks really green.
Yep, it's no good. We should replace it. But that's what we got for now.
But we have spares, don't we? In the...
I don't know, we might.
That's the benefit of.
Turn it on.
Power on.
Okay, we are sparking at the points.
Okay.
So, points are good. Go ahead and turn it off.
On.
Power on.
Contact.
Contact. Stop. Yeah, I don't see any spark. Yeah, still no spark.
Power. Contact.
Contact. Okay. Do it again.
Contact.
Stop. Yeah, we're getting some sparks at the points. They're open. They are opening and closing. Doesn't mean the dwell's cracked, but it's doing it.
So this particular model was the Corvair Monza 900,
which was the fully optioned out sport package.
This was the best of the best that this model had to offer. This is obviously an older, personalized vehicle. I don't want to call it a restoration, but a customization, I think, a personally customized vehicle. The gentleman, from what I understand, who owned this vehicle was a member of a car club. It was a Corvair car club, and they loved their little Corvairs, and they would do all kinds of neat little things to them to make them their own.
All right, let's turn it over again.
Power.
Power.
Contact.
Contact. Stop. Yeah, every now and then I get sparks, but it's not consistent enough. So those points are...
You think it's the points, or you think it's the coil?
We haven't rolled out the coil. Is it going to turn it off? What is it? Metric. You know, I think metric's a better system, but when you're working on something, you just want them all to be one thing or the other. You don't want to have to go back and forth between metric and US traditional inches. Okay, I'm going to check the resistance across the primary coil. On the coil, it needs to be between 0.3 and 5. 3 or 4. Okay, we're good across the that, and then to the secondary coil, I believe it's 20,000. We wanted the between 5 and 20,000. So go to the 20,000 scale. Okay, right there we're getting 8 kilo ohms. So assuming we got good connectivity between everything, it should be fine, should be working. If we got good connection, then it should be working. Now we got a problem where we got this negative wire here, this wire here on the negative side of the coil, and if it's for the tack, then it's wired correctly, but we don't know what it is. It's red. I'm just going to tape it off and leave it off for now. Is there a tack in there?
There is a tack.
Okay, is it an aftermarket tack?
No.
Okay.
It's a factory tack, but that looks like the red wire that's coming from the push button.
Okay, so it's well, they probably just bought a roll of wire and wired it, did all their custom wiring or wire repair.
Yes, they did.
And then I'm just going to put on this wire here, which I think this is the actual ignition wire. Let's see if I can find some markings. Negative, positive. So yeah. So this wire here needs to be the one coming from the ignition. And this one here is the one that goes to the points. One second. Okay, it's popping. Go and turn it over.
Try the key first.
All right.
Nothing.
All right.
Push button.
Stop! We got a good hot spark at the points now.
All right.
I mean, a good hot spark.
Okay.
It's spitting fire. So
what was it that we did?
well, honestly, I just took this red wire off.
Okay.
So it could be the one going to the tack, but the tack's no good, and so it's just grounding through there, killing this thing. Because the other next option is the way it's behaving before reminded me very much of how that dual point distributor on the 8B8 was working without a condenser, which was to say crap, or not at all. So I was wondering if the condenser on this was bad, even though it looks like a new one. Is the condenser bad? So
Wouldn't be the first time we've purchased something new that didn't work.
oh yeah, especially this day and age. All right, let's try again.
All right.
Power on. Okay, go.
In contact.
Yeah. Okay, stop. We have spark.
We now have spark.
We have spark.
We have sparky.
So, and it was trying, because I think it's
Before it was just spinning, now it's trying to start.
well, yeah, now it almost feels like
It's got compression or something.
well, timing is weird. So,
Well, I mean, we are missing a cylinder. All right, power's on.
Okay.
Contact.
Contact.
You ran out of gas.
Yep. A little bit of smoke, which, shoot, man. That's expected. It's going to be a while before these things receipt right in, but now we know this thing's a runner. It is worth getting the proper battery. Let's go ahead and replace the ground strap. We got the cables. Let's go and put the new fuel tank we already have, and do the other stuff. Replace the clutch cable, and do an oil change on this thing. And it's totally worth the effort now, knowing it's a runner. We still got to do something about this little stupid cable here, but I'm pretty sure that was part of the reason why that didn't want to work. So, and then we want to put, like I said, we want to put a ballast resistor in the ignition. So not a little ballast resistor here or something.
And they have like the inline fusible style ballast resistors.
Yeah, they do have the fusible, the resistive wire.
Mm-hmm.
They do have that.
Yeah.
But either way, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Because we can get a Ford or a Chrysler ballast resistor, because we want to knock down the voltage to 9 volts going to the coil. Now we want 12 volts at start, but 9 volts for run is optimal. So yeah, we're in pretty good shape. Very encouraging. Wow. Okay, so as you heard, we got this Joule running, man. It's real exciting. We know that it's going to be a good investment to keep working on this thing, to get the single runner, to spend the money on the other parts we need to make it run and run properly. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to making this thing yet another one of our potential dailies. You know, be kind of fun to boogie in to work with this thing, just to screw with people. You know, there's a whole generation now of young automotive enthusiasts who think this is some sort of weird Karmann Ghia. They have no idea that this was a Chevrolet. So it's fun, it's neat. If you like this video, please give us a like, and if you haven't done this already, please subscribe. Really appreciate you all. Have a good one.